For today's dish, we have a mixed seafood melody going on with some seasoned rice. So stay tuned if you're interested in this dish. And don't forget, guys, enjoy.
Alright guys, so to start, this is a pack of mixed seafood that I got from No Frills pretty much. So this has a variety of different things. So we have a little bit of squid in here, a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of crab, a little bit of all sorts of different seafoods in here. And you can get these from your local No Frills. I got mine from No Frills. You can get them from the Chinese supermarket, pretty much any. Alright, so what I have here is a lime, and I'm just rolling this because I'm just softening it up. And I'm going to cut this and just squeeze a little piece, about a half of this, on my seafood. And this will kill some of the scent if you don't like the scent of like raw food too much. I don't want to smell too much of that fishy smell. So I'm just gonna rub that in, and then I'm gonna bring this over to my sink, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wash. And then I'm just gonna wash my seafood very gently and just drain it off. And I'm just gonna do this twice, and then we can move on. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and just wash a small pot of rice. Once I'm done washing, I'm just going to bring this over to my stove. Alright, so once you're done, you can grab that on your stove. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of butter to this. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of mixed herbs to this. And you can season your rice however way you want. So I'm making a little bit of seasoned rice here. Teeniest bit of rosemary. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cover this and let it steam down. And then I'm going to turn it down on low once it starts boiling. Alright, so here I have some onions. I have 2 sweet peppers, yellow and red. I have a piece of Scotch bonnet pepper, some Italian parsley, 2 cloves of garlic, and some ginger. So I'm just going to cut small portions of these because I'm not going to use everything in these. I'm just going to cut off enough that I want to use. Alright, so once your rice start boiling, I am just going to go ahead and add just a little bit of paprika to this. And this is really just for the color, to change the color of my seasoned rice. And I'm going to cover this back and let this simmer down and cook. Alright, so I'm going to just cut up my vegetables now. I'm going to cut mine up in big little chunks. Like, about this is good enough for me. But you can do yours in whatever size. And for my ginger now and my garlic, all I do is just smash, and this breaks it apart. So this just makes it much easier for it to be cut up into pieces. Alright, so once my frying pan is nice and hot, I'm just going to add a little bit of my extra virgin olive oil here. You can use any type of oil you have, and I'm just going to put my seasoning to fry. You want to go ahead and turn your stove down so you're not trying to burn any of these. And then I'm just going to lightly stir these around and just let these saute in the oil just for a little bit. So you're going to continue just to mix these. Alright, so I've stirred my pot for about exactly 1 minute. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and add my seafood right into this. I'm going to season everything in my pot. You can season yours separately before you add it to your sauces. It really depends on you. Before you add it to your seasoning, it really depends on you. And I'm just going to turn my stove up just a teeny bit. And then we're going to continue to stir these. And what you want to do is just let these infuse with your garlic and your herbs and seasoning that you have in here. And we're going to go ahead and season this nicely now. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little bit of Italian herbs to this, to my pot. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And when I mean a little bit, enough to season it. I'm just using strictly eye measurements here. Use your discretion when salting your pot. You should know how much you need. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of lemon peppers. These you could buy at your local supermarket. Or like I said, you can season your pot however way you like. There's no specific way you have to do this. And it is smelling so good right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of rosemary. I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. I'm going to add a little bit of basil leaves. And now I'm just going to go ahead and stir my pot And as you can see, they're becoming smaller because all of that, the way it was big, that was just all water. So now all the water's coming out, which is good because now all these seasoning is going to infuse together and you're just going to create something delicious and something nice. You do not want to cook these for too long because at the same time you do not want them to become too chewy that you can't even eat them. You still want them to be nice and soft. But then you want to cook them to make sure that they're cooked thoroughly. Alright, last but not least, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of my paprika into this. And we're just going to change up the flavor a little bit. Not necessarily the color, but just the flavor. But like I said, you can season your seafood however way you like. We're strictly just winging it here and just creating something delicious. And then I'm just going to leave this and let this cook for about 3 minutes or so. And then we'll come back and see how it's doing. Alright, so now with my rice, once the water has dried out, what I'm just doing now is just turning it. And this is to ensure that I dry out all my water. So it's almost like when you're doing fried rice. They would put the rice in the fridge overnight or something to let all that water dry out, or they'll cook it the morning before and it has all day to dry out. So what I'm doing now is just trying to ensure that all the water dries out. So you see my fork is still a little bit wet. So we're just trying to dry that all up. So I'm just going to be here and I'm just going to turn this for a while and leave it open while it cooks. So once my seafood is done now, I've turned up my stove and I'm going to go ahead and add my rice right in there. And this is almost like a stir fry now. So you just want to combine everything, your seafood with your rice, and then everything will be nicely combined with this. And then you just want to continue to stir this to your liking pretty much until it is nice and done and everything is combined.
Alright, so you guys have seen the completed dish. Do not be afraid to try this dish, guys. You will be surprised what a few of these items can actually taste like. It's quite interesting, so don't be afraid to try something new. And